The show today from his home down there in D.C., and we got a ton to get to. We're going to start with the game of the night. It was Saints and Packers in Lambeau Field, but mainly Packers, who were trying to clinch a playoff berth with a win early in the first, driving near the red zone. Here's Josh Jacobs. Look at this stiff arm, Jeff.
Receive it. That's what he told him as he threw him on by. If he could have just kept his balance and walked in the end zone, that would have been a highlight of all highlights, but still a nasty.
Would have been, but they're still going to cash this in because you're going to see the Saints defender fall down here in coverage on Dontavian Wicks, and that is a Packers touchdown, and it's 7-0. Early in the second quarter, same score. Packers 4th and 2. They're going to go for it because why not? Love's going to find Tucker Kraft, the tight end, for a 20-yard gain.
Yeah, nice design. Hits him out in the flats, gets the first down conversion. You could tell they were being aggressive. They knew the Saints couldn't score them on offensively, so let's go for it.
Later in the drive, Jacobs going to get his touchdown after all. Packers up 14-0. Now they got a 2nd and 1 later in the second quarter. Same score. This is Love to Kraft again for 30. Wide open.
Glad I took him on the over because I did. Way to go, Kraft. That's what it make it happen, baby.
In case anybody was interested in that. Love 16 for 28 for 182. Now we got Chris Brooks running it in for a touchdown. Jeff, 9 different Packers had rushing attempts.
Not good for fantasy. If you had Jacobs, you were upset with that call.
Let's talk about Matt LaFleur's fantasy. Late in the third, Saints down 24-0 and on the edge of the red zone.
Oh, I don't understand.
Spencer Rattler picked off by Zane Anderson. The Packers squeak it out 34-0. It's the first shutout in the league all year. Packers clinch a playoff berth for the 5th time in 6 seasons under LaFleur. And after the game, here's Jordan Love and a friend with Lisa Salters.
Jordan, you're officially going to the playoffs. How's that sound to you?
It's amazing. You know, this is what we work for all
Stop
season.
playing around! Once again! Punch the ticket!
Come on, man. Come on.
Oof!
You scared me. He's scared.
What he said. Yeah.
Lisa's sitting there.
Did you see her? She was about to bolt, bro. She was about to bolt. He was gone. Love was going to run one way. Lisa was running the other way. That was straight fear in everybody's eyes.
Run for cover.
Run.
Woke everybody up after kind of a dull game, but a pretty awesome performance by the Packers. Neek, how impressed were you?
Oh, no, I'm incredibly impressed. The Packers' offense is great. They can run the ball, and Jordan Love can obviously make all the throws and seems to have his turnover problems under control. But the most impressive part about this team is probably their defense. Since about week 5, they've been the best defense in all of football. So we talk a lot about Jordan Love, and for whatever reason, Toyota-thon or not, he's playing incredibly well at quarterback. But that defense deserves a ton of credit.
Jeff?
I agree. I mean, Matt LaFleur has always done a great job in December, and this is just continuing. You're watching their team ascend as they're entering the playoffs. Great way to clinch 34-0. But to Neek's point, they can run the ball, they can be physical, and their defense is getting after people. That's the formula for a playoff team.
It's this weird year in the NFC, right? They're 10 or what are they? 10-4, 11-4, and in 3rd place in their division. Are they a real Super Bowl contender from that spot?
Yeah, they are. Ideally, they'd be playing in conditions that look more like that than indoors in Minnesota, Detroit. But going back to what Neek says, guys, overall for the season, they're 7th in defensive efficiency, but they're 1st on 3rd down opponent conversions. And to me, it goes back to rush the passer. They can with Rashawn Gary and a host of others, and then they can turn the ball over. Xavier McKinney has 7 interceptions. And when you think about Jeff Hafley, the first-year coordinator, unusually he quit Boston College as their head coach, goes to the NFL to take this position. He's done a great job. They've gotten better. So Jordan Love, we've talked about their weapons, but to me, the complementary piece about this defense makes them a legit Super Bowl contender.
Just to be clear, their losses are 2 to Detroit, 1 to Minnesota, and 1 to Philadelphia. These are the teams that are in front of them in the standings and the teams they're probably going to have to beat on their way to the Super Bowl. You think they can do it?
Graz, here's why. The Green Bay Packers we saw last night, and I get it, they played the Saints, would beat the Green Bay Packers we saw in Brazil against Philadelphia. They have gotten better, specifically on the defensive side of the ball, which is typical of a first-year coordinator.
And that's a significant component of the Packers. But, look at on offense, like Jacobs. Like, we talk about Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley as these big free agent signings. Jacobs has been amazing for them.
Absolutely. You saw it last night, the physicality he runs with. And Green Bay does a great job in designing runs anyway. LaFleur does a really good job of putting him in the best case scenario. But he runs with physicality. You can tell well. He enjoys this offense and what they're doing. And then you couple that with Love and the explosive guys they got on the outside and tight ends. The tight ends are always productive. This is a well-built offense, a well-built defense. When you're talking about these teams are so close. Like even when you watch them play, it's always settled by a field goal. These are very good football teams. But to your point, they haven't beaten them yet.
They haven't beaten them yet, and they're going to have to beat them on the road if they're going to do it because that's the way the standings shake out. But, Nick, you see the Packers, the Jordan Love, Josh Jacobs Packers as a legitimate threat in the postseason?
Yeah, I do think they're a legitimate threat. They could win it all, but I think the point that you guys are making about them beating the good teams is an important one to focus on for a second because I know we all believe that they're good enough and they've been close in those games, but there's a difference between being close and actually getting it done. As well as Jordan Love and the Packers played in the playoffs last year, this is a new team. It's slightly different. Every year the team has to take on new challenges, and I think I would feel a lot more confident about this team if they pulled off some of those close games. They pulled off victories in some of those close games against the Vikings and the Lions, but they're going to get several more opportunities, it seems in the coming weeks and in the playoffs.
And the one with the Vikings, Jordan Love had just come off his injury, right? Through 3 picks, I think, early in the game, and then they came back and still had a chance to win. To Nick's point, though, you got to beat the teams. Like it's great to say you're right there with them, but you're on the outside looking in still until you show. They obviously got an opportunity coming up.
They do. They're playing the Vikings
weekend
on Sunday, right?
You know, when you have playoff success like us beating, Jeff in the playoffs, it's because you have good defense and you can get off the field on third down.